Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about zodiac signs and reliability. And yes, I'm referring to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Now, I'm going to go in chronological order and talk about the 12 zodiac signs and how I feel about each one in terms of their reliability. Now, starting with the zodiac sign Aries, well, Aries can be more than timely and punctual and perhaps reliable. They could often be early for appointments, and even the one thing about this that could be to one's detriment. Now, let's say hypothetically, an Aries person is going to an interview with a prospective employer. Now, if you show up sometimes way like too early, like even 10 or 15 minutes early for an interview, sometimes you might inadvertently show up the prospective employer. But in many cases, being early is not bad, and the early bird gets the worm, does it not, in most cases? Now, Taurus, if there's ever a sign that we could really correlate with reliability and dependability, it would be Taurus. I mean, hey, that's my rising sign. I also have Saturn conjunct the Ascendant, as many of you may know, and I think that that can play a role as well. And I think Taurus is known for their consistency and for their reliability. And in that book, Secrets from a Stargazer's Notebook, it said about Taurus rising, these gents come through on their promises. I think that pretty much in summation, that does really sum me up in a nutshell. And this could apply to the sun or moon as well, but although I think it's more intensified with the ascendant, but that's just my opinion. So Taurus is known for their stolidness, but they're also known for their consistency and reliability. And if you want something done right, it's basically essentially a Taurus will generally do it, though more methodical than the average person. Now with Gemini, this is something a little bit different. Now Gemini, we know has many good points as they're versatile and multifaceted, but with Gemini, not I don't really see Gemini as a sign that really emphasizes reliability. They're more because the sign can be somewhat flighty and changeable and fickle. And if it's something maybe that has to do with communication and something they really enjoy, like that, they might have certain reliability. But Gemini doesn't like to be pinned down, and I think that can go for being at a certain place at a certain time. And this is something, and Gemini is not known for their persistence, and I think this plays a role because being reliable consistently at something requires certain persistence as well, and that stick-to-itiveness and always wanting to be to stay with the program or with a task at hand and be able to continually do it. So there's really that I don't think it's Gemini's strong point. Now, with the zodiac sign Cancer, well, Cancer is known to be tenacious, and I see the loyalty and this reliability is similar to Taurus. And Cancer really likes to feel emotionally connected to things, and I think because of this, there is a certain reliability, and Cancer can be a clinging sign as well on the negative side. And Cancer can be I would say I would rank them pretty high in terms of the loyalty, though, and that's especially in reliability. I should say more reliability, especially with family members. I would say this would really they could in that regard they might nearly be the troubadour of loyalty of reliability this way. And now the sign Leo, zodiac sign Leo. Well, Leo is a fixed sign, and I think what comes with that is certain being steadfastness and loyalty and that, reliability does come with that hand in hand. And I think I think when a Leo says that it's similar to Taurus, Leo wants to do what they come out and say they're going to do, because I think if they feel, well, if they don't do it, then what I think could happen is they say, well, how come I didn't do that? And because they want to be loyal to a cause, and they have their pride. They don't want to say, well, gee, I promised this one person something and I didn't follow up on it, because this is a sign very strongly associated with pride, and they take pride, I think, in things connected with reliability as well. They don't want to let somebody down because they feel that might be a reflection on themselves or something negative or connected with him or her. So I think Leo is right up there in terms of that. Now, as far as Virgo goes, I think could Virgo unequivocally be the most reliable sign of the zodiac. They're known for their exactitude and attention to detail, and just being an earth sign, it's very premeditative. If anyone plans things out to be somewhere at a certain time or have a certain task at hand accomplished at a certain time, I would think it would be the zodiac sign, Virgo. And Virgo can be somewhat of a perfectionist, and they want to be, their nature is so scrupulous that they kind of very much, as far as say authority goes, I would say Virgo very respectful of that and wants to do things in the right way. And I think that goes hand in hand with punctuality and reliability. So the next sign, Libra. Well, Libra is about, I would think Libra could be, it's a balanced sign. I think they're a sign this could go maybe certain things, maybe reliable, but not so much as like a Taurus or a Virgo. Libra is an air sign, and I think when you see that air quality, a lot of times it's not really strongly connected with being reliable or dependable. But Libras are very fair and balanced, and they're about being equitable. And I think there is an effort, if it's to appease someone else, especially like in a partnership or relationship type situation or something where it's a collaborative effort when they're with other people, or something that's connected with socializing and being with friends or something. I think that's where you see where they would be pretty reliable. But it doesn't mean in every element or aspect in life they are, because there is that airy quality, and it's not quite tied in to the reliability such as an earth sign, I would say. So the next sign, well, Scorpio. Scorpio is a fixed sign, and Scorpio, I think, can be loyal to the end, and I think reliability can come with that as well. And the Scorpio is the type that they'll put a lot of emotional intensity into any project they embark on, and I think they could show tremendous steadfastness and consistency as far as this goes, in tenacity, and with that usually comes some reliability. Now, if a Scorpio is scorned more so than the other signs, don't get me wrong, people, every sign can have some propensity to be vindictive or vengeful, but I think it's more connected with Scorpio than the other signs. And I guess to get to the point, if someone lets Scorpio down, and it could be where this person might decide not to be so reliable after all, and can have their own little quiet, subtle way of maybe not being, doing things to kind of get back at the person, such as not showing up on time for something or not delivering. If the person is not, if Scorpio is not respected, they're not going to be reliable for somebody, and I think they could basically say whatever and become very apathetic as far as their own reliability would go. So I think that's how I see Scorpio. And in short, Scorpio could be very reliable, but if scorned by someone where they were once reliable for at one time, might go in the complete opposite direction. Now, as far as Sagittarius goes, well, Sagittarius being immutable, it's flighty. They're similar to Gemini that way. Sagittarius is not exactly known for tenacity or persistence. And I think with that, you have that kind of you have some inconsistency, and it's not a sign that overly emphasizes reliability. I had a friend that had Sagittarius rising, and I would call him up, and I would not get a phone call back. And I'm not saying all people that have Sagittarius Sun, Moon, or Ascendant would be like that, but I think it inclines a little bit more toward the below average in the reliability department. But that's just my own perception and my own observations over the years on Sagittarius. And because the nature is not always serious, I think that might play a little role in things, and they don't always take everything, maybe just various elements or aspects in their life as serious as maybe they should. Now, the sign Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is like the antithesis of Sagittarius this way. So Capricorn, as many of you may know, is very stern and serious, and they're very, especially matters pertaining to business, I think you see such a strong reliability. Things related to career matters, you will see Capricorn be very premeditative, always try strongly, at least most of the time, try to get to where they have to be at that precise time, be there for their friends or be there for whoever, and especially when it's business or career related matters. So I see Capricorn as a pretty reliable sign. Now, Aquarius might be a fixed sign. I mean, might be. I know my correction. Aquarius is a fixed sign, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the most reliable of all the signs. It is an air sign, and there's not as much, similarly to Gemini and Libra, there's not as much of an emphasis on this reliability as maybe the earth signs. Now, Aquarius kind of likes to go to the beat of their own drum. You know, they're non-conforming, and I think they work best on their own schedule. So maybe they're reliable about being inconsistent, or consistent of being inconsistent as far as that goes. They kind of want to, many Aquarius Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people like to do things in their own way, in their own time. It doesn't mean they don't have any loyalty to someone, because it is a fixed sign and they could be very loyal to others. But as far as sticking with the schedule, or being reliable, being at a certain place at a certain time, consummating a task at a certain point in time, I don't think you see that as much as with a lot of more as some of the other signs. Now, last but not least, Pisces. Now, Pisces is not exactly known for having a phenomenal memory. And I think this can kind of play a role in the reliability element sometimes. And I think Pisces is just what they are. What happens with Pisces is that you have some ambivalence with Pisces and a lot of ambiguity. And the confusion in Pisces, a theory I saw in one book, is because they're actually a combination of the previous 11 signs. Now, that's just one source I read. And I think Pisces is generally not malicious, and I don't think it's a sign that would deliberately blow somebody off, so to speak, or forget about them just to be mean. But Pisces can sometimes forget. I think sometimes they just become very apathetic, and it's not where they're trying to be mean or deliberately not be somewhere at a certain time for somebody, or not finish something at a certain time, but it could be apathy, and I think they can become disinterest. But don't get me wrong, people, Pisces is very compassionate, and things with Pisces, it's nothing's done to be mean or to be hateful if they're not. But as far as missing an appointment, or not being somewhere, or at a certain point in time, or finishing something timely, it's just something with them where you have that ambivalence and indecision, and indecision sometimes leads to no decision, and it might result in not being at that place at a certain time, or what have you. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for zodiac signs and reliability, and stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about, I'll be continuing my series on Sun Ascendant sign combinations. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.